Business news from the Capital Region. This is Washington Business Report with ABC7 national correspondent Rebecca Cooper.
Thanks for joining us. Today's the big day, Super Bowl Sunday. Not only synonymous with football, but also advertising. Experts say the fact that 15 companies are jumping in for the first time, willing to spend $4.5 million per 30-second slot, well, that's a good sign for the overall economy. And in our Souped Up show today, two top ad execs break down this year's best and worst when it comes to advanced buzz, branding, and other lessons every business can learn, even without a supersized ad budget. And in our Small Business Spotlight, how to win from the sidelines. We'll talk ways to use your skills outside of your day job to make money and advance your career without cheating on the boss. But first today, we want to hear from you. With so many Super Bowl ads now released in advance, which ones have you already seen that you either love or hate? Tell us on our Facebook page or tweet us at WashBiz using the hashtag ads. Here's one we picked that seems to have the winning formula: funny, memorable, and for those of us over 40, relatable. Take a look.
Back in 56 pass, I wasn't prepared to translate that.
That's
that little
right.
mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At?
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard it.
Around
I'd never heard it said. I'd always
That's
seen
right.
the mark. There it is. At amfeedback.com. I mean, what
do you
is
say to that,
internet
Allison?
anyway? What do you write to it like mail?
There's Allison. Can you explain what internet is?
See, that's what I said. What do you mean there's nothing under the hood? Katie said she thought this was a car.
Yeah.
And it's built using wind? Like from a windmill?
Or a fan, or a turbine, or a fan vine.
I mean, what is I3 anyway?
Allison, can you explain what I3 is?
Joining us to talk about how to learn from the best is Carrie Hatch, CEO of MDB Communications, and Matt Smith, CEO of Smith Gifford, two of the best in the business here in Washington. Thank you for joining us both. We already showed the BMW ad. You all pointed to that as one that's effective. I liked it as well. Before we even let you say a thing, I want to show one of the ads you picked, the Newcastle ad, and then I'm going to let you weigh in on why you both thought this was an effective ad. Let's take a look.
Honey, have you seen my brand tortilla chips?
Try cleaning the fridge.
Nope. Nothing here.
Try checking the basement, babe.
I cleaned the whole basement and didn't find any serious crunch or bold nacho flavors down here.
Check the garage.
No up here either.
Check under the sink.
Nope. Hey, you hid my to trick me into doing chores. Now that's comedy everyone could enjoy.
So you both enjoy this ad and you say it's effective. Carrie, why is it effective?
Well, I think a couple different levels. First of all, it was co-funded, so what's bad about having somebody help you pay for an ad? And
Explain that to me first, though. Co-funded and crowdfunded, and this was their way of saying we don't have a $4.5 million budget, so we're going to do it this way.
with a couple of our friends, right? People who can chip in and help us pay for the ad. And they also, I think, won the PR war. Tons and tons of unpaid or earned media. They really came out ahead.
In terms of the advanced buds, in terms of, Matt, being a spoof on every ad out there, so is that how they did it?
They took advantage of what they had done last year, which actually was a way to get on the Super Bowl without being on the Super Bowl. And this year, how do you top that? Well, you kind of have fun with the idea. It's also kind of an homage to small businesses and a way for small businesses to kind of come together. I think it's great.
So we picked another ad that we think is very effective in terms of earning free media in advance of the game. This is a little-known glue company that bet the farm. They spent all their advertising budget for the year on this one Super Bowl spot. Let's take a look. Lock tight.
With Loctite in your fanny pack, you can help a lot. Loctite.
So no superstars, no celebrities, no Britney Spears, just a lot of branding for a company that's not a big name. Does it work?
Absolutely. They're up against Gorilla Glue, which is a huge competitor, which has a huge advertising budget. So I think this was a smart way to get their brand in front of people. It's unique, it's memorable, a little cheesy, but it'll be remembered.
Cheesy works, especially when it's a small company that you're rooting for, the little guy. Matt, though, you're in advertising. Would you tell a client, forget radio ads in your local market all year long just by one Super Bowl ad?
I think in this case, it's a national brand. It's not a local brand. And you think about the numbers of people they're reaching at once, it's brilliant. That's Fallon. It's a brilliant agency. And on top of that, the ad isn't that exciting, but it's literally 30 seconds of the Loctite logo.
Well, and Carrie, you and I and Matt, we've all talked about this before. There are some companies that come up with great ads, but at the end of it, you can't think of who the company is that's making the ad. It's so funny, it's so humorous, but there's no branding.
That's the most creative agency in America. They are famous for
What are
doing
some of the other
creative
ads that they've
agencies.
done that we would have heard of?
Oh my God, it goes on and on. They did Cadillac for years.
Cadillac,
and
EDS,
Yeah.
Herding Cats, they've done a lot of great
And now,
ads.
that's
Loctite
them.
glue.
But it's the strategy on that. It's not a Hail Mary. You think about the numbers of people they need to reach in one hit. Their media budget's so small that if they spread it out, no one sees it. And it's not even a product that you go look for. I mean, it's kind of a secondary product. It's brilliant.
We give so much free media to Super Bowl ads. We give even more now that they've been even smarter by playing us and releasing them in advance. Super Bowl hasn't even aired yet, and we're already dissecting some of the best and worst ads. We showed the BMW ad, Carrie. I like that one personally because I used to work at NBC. I worked with Brian Gumbel and Katie Couric because I'm that old. And Bryant is the most lovable know-it-all you will ever work with. So for Bryant Gumbel to be willing to relive days where he looked pretty ignorant looking back, of course we all were then, it works for me. What did you like about it?
That's what I loved about it. And I went to high school with Katie, so haven't met her since. But she was great.
Also
they
willing
were great.
to make fun of herself, make fun of her hair.
But that's what was always actually her magic on the Today Show,
Yeah.
is that she was self-deprecating, and that's what's great about it.
What worked for you, Carrie?
And it gives people permission to consider a new vehicle that's got new technology. So that self-deprecating humor certainly works, but it gives the rest of us not only a laugh and a chuckle and a little bit of nostalgia, but permission to explore a new vehicle in a different way.
Carrie, we usually like to either laugh from a Super Bowl ad or cry, but in a heartfelt, sentimental, good kind of cry way. One of the ads you picked as most effective this year is Unsettling. It's a PSA that the NFL produced. Let's take a look.
911, operator 901. Where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency
Do you
line.
know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Powerful, and you know I devote my charity time to child abuse, but unsettling to watch during a fun America's pastime kind of game. Why does this work, Carrie?
Well, they've got a huge audience. The NFL is certainly in a position now to talk about this as an issue. They've had their own challenges.
They needed to talk about this.
They've had their own challenges. I mean, Ray Rice and a number of others. My understanding is that their whole campaign, the nomore.org campaign, has been effective, but I think this will really bring it home for a lot of people. Don Hudson has done a great job as their new chief marketing officer, made a meaningful difference to their messaging. I think all of us are now, not just aware of it, but feel empowered to do something, and this was an important step.
And Matt, this is based on an actual incident, an actual phone call to 911. But again, unsettling during the Super Bowl. It may upset some people. Does it work?
It works, and it's designed for the Super Bowl because she's calling for a pizza, which is, we know everybody orders pizzas during the Super Bowl. So you're kind of sucked in, just like the 911 operator was, which is the brilliant part of it. And then it takes the turn. And it's a really powerful way because you feel like there are people doing things about this and stuff like that. I think it's I know when we shared it around, I was like, this is probably the most powerful ad on the Super Bowl. That isn't a big budget, too, I might add. That was brilliantly executed on a shoestring budget.
Well, five kids die every day as a result of child abuse, and we don't talk about this issue enough, but this is a chance to.
And if you don't have a big media budget, this is an opportunity to have a sharper nail. We always say if you don't have a bigger hammer, you have to have a sharper nail. This message is very clear, very poignant, very emotional, and real.
Doesn't let the NFL off the hook for everything, but it's a good move. Okay, so let's talk about the one that's definitely gotten the most buzz out there, and it's not going to air tonight. The GoDaddy puppy ad. Let's take a look.
Because I just sold you on this website I built with GoDaddy. Ship them out!
So you're expecting a cute Budweiser sentimental moment. You get politically incorrect humor, so much so that GoDaddy pulled the ad because people were offended that it was too much like a puppy mill. Let's start with what everyone's asking in advance. GoDaddy says this was not a deliberate ploy just to get attention. Do you buy that, Carrie?
I maybe am a little cynical, but I think it was planned.
Matt?
Of course it was planned. It takes time for the NFL to approve an ad to go on network. You know what it's like to get an ad on national network on the Super Bowl? The amount of approval process that went through. This is like reality programming where the camera's inside and it's pretending like no one's there. Total setup.
I was talking to Beth Johnson, one of the other top ad execs in town, RP3, and she doesn't buy it either. And what I think GoDaddy is asking us to believe is if they didn't know it was going to offend some people, then they have no finger on the pulse. And come on, they've always had effective advertising. Of course they knew it was going to offend people. But then let's, as cynics, ask, is that effective? Look at all the free media GoDaddy has gotten from this ad. Does it still serve their purpose?
The social marketing game is over. They want it. If you Google...
In a good way or in a bad way?
They want it.
In a bad way. In an absolute bad way. I don't
Horrible,
think the American public likes to get played. I don't think people like to get played.
It depends on the punchline.
Well, okay, so...
Let's say the dog was bought by Danica. Huh? There's lots of things. Maybe the dog.
A very happy puppy.
There's all the millions of dollars donated to the.
One of our viewers weighed in on this on our Facebook page before we even aired the show because we said we were going to be talking about this. Bill Sawyer, he said it's a funny ad. Everybody lighten up, get over it. GoDaddy's supposed to be kind of an edgy company that's supposed to appeal to younger, tech-savvy users. You know, there's a lot of inappropriate humor. Some of the best humor is inappropriate. Again, are we just being fuddy-duddies?
No, we're not. I handle a client that's in the dog world, and I'm actually all over Facebook saying, where do we cross the line? At what point does awareness equal sales? And this is kind of one of those things that cross the line. I do believe they didn't expect the reaction. You don't mess with dogs.
So even if it was deliberate, it was a misplay?
I think it was a misplay, and I think they actually may have hurt the brand a tad.
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll see who plays the best game, but thanks for helping break down and who played some of the best advertising games. Okay, thank you all, and thank you. Be sure and let us know what you thought of today's show. We posted the ads we discussed on Facebook. Comment on them. You can follow us on Twitter @WashBiz. You can watch any of our interviews at WJLA.com and go to the Facebook page. Let us know what you thought of the ads. Have a great week.